We're trying to digest all of that. For more on the markets, let's bring in David Spika, President and CIO at Guidestone Capital Management. David, happy Friday. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Carl. Thank you.
Let's zero in on what Morgan just mentioned, and that is Fed guidance. There's been more and more discussion that maybe it's not Jackson Hole after all. And what would be the harm in having Powell say, you know what, this Delta thing is affecting behavior. Let's wait, and we'll discuss maybe in September.
Well, I think the market would respond well to that. I mean, clearly, the last thing the market wants to see is Fed tightening. Now, there's two aspects of that. There's tapering, and then there's actually raising interest rates. And obviously, the tapering is going to come first. But I really think that's the last thing the Fed wants to see. So if Powell came out and said, look, this Delta variant is creating some serious headwinds for the economy, and that's going to push back the need to start tightening, I think the market would respond well to that and would probably breathe a sigh of relief.
Inflation, then, is going to be the question, because obviously anything related to imports from Asia is going to be affected. Chips and autos are a trouble spot, but you got copper now, iron ore. We've talked a lot about oil today, already down to the low 60s. Are we in it? Is the bigger danger inflation or deflation right now, David?
Great question, Carl. I think stagflation may be the biggest risk, but the issue you have today is that we're seeing real inflation. Is it transitory? It isn't not. It's kind of hard to call it transitory with some of the data you just cited and what we've seen over the past several months. But the Fed is trying to thread the needle right now. The 10-year yield at 123 is saying we're not concerned about inflation. The Fed's trying to thread the needle. The markets don't seem that concerned about it. You don't really see the markets pricing in inflationary concerns. They're more worried about growth. And so today, I don't think inflation is the biggest risk for the markets. I think the markets want to see continued growth, Delta variant. They want to see the reopening trade come back. And I think that's going to be the real key. Inflation is probably a 2022 story, quite honestly, because I think most investors have bought into the transitory rhetoric coming out of the Fed. And so if we get to 2022, we're past Delta. We're seeing growth resurging as a result of being past the Delta variant. I think that's when inflation really starts to become a bigger risk for the market.